Thank you for joining us on Business Now. I am Perpetua Fasami Peter. And now the news in detail. The Central Bank of Nigeria on Tuesday said the new Naira has slowed ransom-taking and kidnapping activities across the country. The Apex Bank said there would be no extension to the January 31, 2023 deadline for phasing out the old Naira notes, a disappointment to those who have been expecting an extension. Godwin Emefiele, governor of the CBN, said this while briefing journalists on the outcome of the two-day Monetary Policy Committee MPC meeting in Abuja. He said kidnapping and ransom-taking have reduced since the rollout of the redesigned Naira notes on December 15, 2023. Nigeria's Senate had asked the CBN to extend its deadline for the phasing out of the 1,000 Naira, 500 Naira and 200 Naira old notes from January 31st to June 30th, 2023. However, Emefiele said the 100 days deadline is enough for people to deposit their old Naira notes into the banking system. Traders in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, have appealed to the federal government to further extend the deadline on the introduction of the new Naira notes and the phasing out of the old currency. The market men and women made the appeal during the course of a sensitization walk organized by officials of the nation's Apex Bank, the central bank, across major markets. The central bank took its message to the heart of major markets like Aleshinloye, Dugbe, Bodija, and other strategic trading points. Traders who spoke with newsmen say they are not happy with the scarcity of the new notes and the difficulty in depositing the old notes, which they say is adversely affecting their businesses. Officials of the CBN insist that there is no going back on the January 31 deadline. They called on the traders to adhere with the directive or risk forfeiting their hard-earned currency.
We are conducting spot check to make sure that the banks dispense the new Naira notes in the ATMs. And we are here to tell them that they should go to the ATMs and collect the new Naira notes. The CBN is doing all we can to make sure that the new Naira notes are available to the banks, and we ensure that they put them in the ATM cards, in the ATM machines, so that the banks can dispense these old new Naira notes. They have been instructed to load their ATMs with the new Naira notes, the 200 Naira, the 500 Naira, and the 1,000 Naira notes. You should try and deposit your money before the 31st of January in your various banks, and the banks are supposed to bring this money to central bank for deposit.
There is no any new Naira note there. Yes, we have been trying to convince our people here to get their old notes to the bank so that they can get new Naira notes. So I think with more awareness, people will know and will understand the time that they are going to take all their old notes to the bank.
If you go to POS, they want to withdraw from POS. You don't get that money. That money is not circulated at all.
Naira fell marginally on Tuesday by 0.08% against the dollar at the official market, the same day that the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, raised its benchmark interest rate for the fifth straight time to 17.5%. After trading on Tuesday, Naira depreciated by 0.08% as the dollar was quoted at 462 Naira, as against the last close of 461 Naira 63 kobo on Monday at the Investors and Exporters Forex window. Nigeria's official market data from the FMDQ indicated. Most currency dealers who participated at the foreign exchange auction on Tuesday maintained bids between 440 Naira being low and 463 Naira being high per dollar. The level of activities at the I&E window increased as the daily foreign exchange market turnover rose by 15.73% to $112.04 million on Tuesday, from $96.81 million recorded Friday last week. At the parallel market, popularly called the black market, Naira closed at 748 Naira per dollar, the same rate it closed on Monday. Moving on, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has voted to raise its benchmark interest rate, otherwise called the monetary policy rate, to 17.5%. From 16.5% in its January 2023 meeting. Business Breakfast spoke with investment banker Mukhtar Mohammed on the impact the hike will have on production and the capital market. Mukhtar posited that the hike will consolidate the CBN's effort to rein in inflation, adding that the hike will not have much impact on the capital market as feared by some analysts who have said the equities market will be hard hit by the MPC's decision.
Asked me why is it that they are still hiking rate. You remember that the problem in Nigeria does not have to do with interest rate alone. It has to do with exchange rate volatility. And as it stands now, this NNPC, which happens to be the cash cow of the country, is not sending anything to the federation account with the CBN. So definitely, and also manufacturers are not able to access enough of the greenback from the banks, and so they have to patronize the parallel market. So they are looking at all these factors and begin to factor them in and said, if we need to tame inflation, we need to do this, and I think that's what they are doing.
Please go ahead.
I said the impact on the capital market will not be so much because it's already been pricing, especially we're in the earning season. So this time cash is key, especially in an economy that is struggling like what we are having in the Nigerian economy. So what people are looking at the dividend payout by the price that you enter. And also remember that the price of the equities are still very cheap, comparable to the kind of result that they're having and they're earning per shares. So investors will be looking at dividend yield and then some of them want to look at the fixed income space. And then we look at the dividend yield and what you get from the fixed income space, then what you see in capital appreciation. So it all depends on investor perception and what they think. But I think the effect on the capital market will not be much. If you look at dividend yield, you look at fixed income payment, you realize that if you enter at a good ratio of prices, especially in a cheaper equity and mostly the tier 1 bank, you will be getting more in terms of dividend payout yield than what you get in the fixed income pays for 91 days. And knowing fully well that once some of this company finish paying, the next thing is that they release their result and it has a positive impact on the price movement. So it depends on what you are looking at. For the fixed income, I think, like I say, it's fixed, it's certain. But for the capital market, what people are thinking is that maybe there could be a volatility, but I don't think so.
As the January 31, 2023 deadline of the Central Bank of Nigeria on the old and the new currency notes nears, the Apex Bank has encouraged Nigerians to adopt other channels of payment. The Director, Legal Services and Legal Advisor of the CBN, Mr. Salam Alada, gave the advice on Tuesday in Akure, Ondo State during a monitoring exercise on automated teller machines, ATM machines, by a team from the Apex Bank to know if banks were loading their machines with the new Naira notes. The team visited some automated teller machines galleries along Hospital Road, Arakale, Alagbaka, Futa, Oba Deshida Road in Akure. According to Alada, the cash payment was not the only medium of payment, saying there were other channels like electronic banking, e-Naira, and money transfer from phones, among others. He said the essence of the program is to encourage cashless society, adding that for Nigerians who do not have access, there is USSD where they can use a non-browsing phone to do some of these transactions. Mr. Lada said country needs to move forward and join other nations where cash is no longer the king. The Debt Management Office, DMO, has offered 4 federal government of Nigeria bonds valued at 360 billion naira for a subscription via auction at 1,000 naira per unit. According to a circular by the DMO, the bonds on offer are reopening of a 10-year February 2028 FGN bond valued at 90 billion naira at an interest rate of 13.98% per annum. There is also a reopening of the 15-year April 2032 FGN bond valued at 90 billion naira at 12.50% per annum. The third is the reopening of a 20-year April 2037 FGN bond valued at 90 billion naira at 16.24% interest rate per annum. The last offer is the reopening of 30-year April 2049 FGN bond, also valued at 90 billion naira at interest rate of 14.80% per annum. Government securities like FGN bond, FGN savings bond, and the Sukuk bond constitute local components of government borrowings.